Are you guys like jacked up for this? Like for this? Is this a big deal for you guys?
I was pumped. I've been to one Super Bowl when I was like 8.
But it's different. Like we don't even go to the game.
Yeah.
Every year I tell people I'm going to the Super Bowl, and then they're like, "Wow, what's it like?" I'm like, "Oh no, I leave on Saturday." And everyone's like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't." To be honest, I have no interest. I went to the Super Bowl. The only thing that could top this would be a Jets Super Bowl. I went to Giants Pats round 2, and I mean, I've told this before, but it's probably been many years since I've told it. So even if you have heard it, it's been a long time. I was, what year was that, 2012? 12, 13? Like
round 2,
season.
yeah. It was 07 and 11 with the team, so it would probably would have been February 2012.
2012. So
I believe so.
At that point, the bar out in Montauk, the Sloppy Tuna, had opened up that summer prior. And they were making waves because they were, at this point, Montauk was still like low-key surfer town, a little bit of partying. Now it's like
Sloppy Tuna got replaced last year.
Yeah.
With like a joke.
So Sloppy Tuna came in, and they and others, but I think Sloppy really like brought the fucking party vibe. And this guy who owned it was like a real Wall Street shyster. Like
Shyster's up there with words that sound racist that aren't.
Yeah, that sounds like the other one that, you know. Like,
wait, what's the other one?
Shy. There's a shy.
Yes,
Yeah,
okay. Maybe that's why.
That's probably why you're thinking it, yeah. He was like, I think he was like one rung above Madoff, like really grimy dude. I think he actually I know he bought Bernie Madoff's house slippers at his like estate sale.
He went the shilling robe with it?
Yeah, which is, I was like, this is something like, he's like your idol. So this dude, he came in hot for the summer. He's the guy, he flew me out to Sloppy Tuna on a helicopter with me and 6 of my friends. He gave us one of every single thing on the menu. We partied there. He took us out on his boat all day. We partied at Sloppy Tuna in the evening. We did the, did you ever do the goldfish races?
I have not done that one. No.
Dude, goldfish races are awesome. It's one of the most fun gambling things you can do. They have these tubes that all like mix and match.
Yeah.
And you have like 5 of them, and you drop a fucking goldfish in, and whichever one gets to the end is the winner, and people could bet and stuff. And it's like, you feel like you're like Frank Reynolds in an underground like Vietnamese gambling ring. You're screaming at goldfish in tubes. You're banging on the little thing.
It's almost like marble racing, kind of.
Yeah. So that same dude, and he was paying me well. This was back when like we were making bar money on the side. So he was like he was making a rain just to post on the website. And I was like, this is amazing. Anyway, he then hits me up for Super Bowl, and he was like, in the summer.
Sorry to interrupt real quick.
Yeah.
What demographics did you bring for your friends? Because I heard you like going on the boat and all that stuff. What were we going? You and 5 bros?
I brought Caitlin.
Okay.
And then 4 dudes. So anyway, this guy says, I'm taking you to the Super Bowl. Like, he told me that in the summer. And I was like, all right, I don't know, whatever, man. Super Bowl rolls around. He takes us on a fucking, not like, when I say a private plane, I don't mean like a private jet. It was a fucking plane that he rented out private. Like, it held like 200 people.
Oh,
he got like a
747.
Like it had rows of
seats.
That's
weird.
And it was like a bunch of Wall Street people.
Oh, but he filled them all up?
Not all, but a lot.
Oh, okay.
He probably took like I want to say, I mean, maybe this doesn't make sense. Like I don't know if he got everyone a ticket or what. Maybe he they all sort of had their own tickets and he flew them. I don't know. But I think it was like 100 people.
That's cool.
I remember the fucking man, these 2 guys. What do we? I had to make up a nickname for them when I was telling the story back in the day. I think I went with like Patty and Patty O'Shamus. It was Patty. It was these 2 Irish brothers were on the plane, and they got rocked. And we were flying out that day. It was like flying to Indianapolis, flying back that night. We're getting on a fucking like 747 with like no rules, and they were so hammered on the plane before we even took off, and he was yelling at the stewardess. I remember him going like, yeah, why don't you see, the stewardess said something like shut up, the stewardess said shut your clam, and he said, how about you open yours? and,
That's a good response.
and was like, these guys were blacked out before we even took off. And I'll never forget the stewardess, because they like hired like a, pilot staff and everything for this fucking plane, got on like the little phone thing and was like, ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Contrary to popular belief, this is an airplane and rules still do exist. Because like everyone was just like, we're doing whatever we want.
Yeah.
So we fly there, we get in a suite, we watch the fucking Giants beat the Patriots again. I was going like bananas as if like I was a full-blown Giants fan. And then we hop on that plane back, and that was like Con Air.
I can't.
Going home from that night, I was like scared. I was almost like, we should maybe just like get our own, like we'll stay in a hotel.
That's one of those I would definitely. I'd want to stay for the party and for all that. I'd be like, but also I'm a little fucking terrified about what's going on in that plane.
For fucking real,
Dude, like the only reason like the people on like the White House Cowboys survived is because they were professional football players.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have that kind of the build to survive a fucking drunken flight home. From
I
a
will
football
say
game.
that it was. I think when we were boarding, it was like I think people were missing the flight. And like they were running down the runway. I remember like because you go on like one of those fake terminals,
World War Z style.
Yeah,
like,
but then
get it in the air.
it was like fucking when we pulled out of Afghanistan. People were hanging on to the fucking plane, and everybody was like rowdy and wild, and the stewardesses were like scared for their lives. And then the whole plane crashed. And it was, the people on it crashed, and it was like. That was the only Super Bowl I went to outside of Barstool. Every other time I've gone to the week and then never the actual game. But I just like, this is one thing I feel like an asshole about. Like I totally take this week for granted.
For sure.
I was like, this is like just almost a nuisance. I'm like, oh, I got to plan this. Oh, we just got back from Amsterdam. I got to do this. I got to fly out there. And then I'm thinking like I hear that we have a house with fucking field goal uprights and a basketball court and a pickleball court,
Mini golf,
pool table, mini golf. I'm like, holy shit, man. Maybe I guess it's time to remember that this is pretty cool.